Donald Trump is incredible at talking trash. I don't care what your stance is on him personally or professionally. He is amazing at keeping control of people and keeping in a position of authority. And in this 30-second clip, I'm going to break down 8 different strategies he used, all within those 30 seconds, to keep control of a room and to keep control over reporters. Then we're going to go through and break down each technique that he used. So number 1, you can understand what he did, but more importantly, number 2, you can pick the ones that you liked and use them in your own life. So let's fire up this clip and then we'll go back and dissect it.
Define alt-right to me. You define it. Go ahead.
Well, I'm saying,
define it for me. Come on, let's go. Define
Senator
it.
McCain defined them as the same group.
Okay, what about the alt-left that came charging at, excuse me, what about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt?
This is Senator McCain's statement.
Let me ask you this. What about the fact that they came charging with clubs in their hands, swinging clubs? Do they have any problem? I think they do. So, as far as I'm concerned, that was a horrible, horrible day. Wait a minute, I'm not finished. I'm not finished, fake news. That was a horrible day, but there is another side. There was a group on this side, you can call them the left, or you've just called them the left, that came violently attacking the other group. So you can say what you want, but that's the way it is.
It's incredible. So many different techniques all in that 30 seconds. And let's break down exactly what he did. But before I do, if you're in a position where you feel like you're not confident socially, or a lot of times people don't respect you and kind of talk down to you, I'm not going to talk about that in this video. But if you want, you can go to charismamatrix.com/SI checklist and download a checklist that'll go through 5 things that'll help you immediately boost your status when you need that. And because you're coming from this video, you can get it for free. All right, so let's slow this thing down and look at these 8 techniques that he used.
Define alt-right to me. You define it. Go ahead.
Okay, so he asked her to define something that's a bit ambiguous because she's using this term to make him sound bad. So he's first putting her on her toes by saying, you define this.
Define it for me. Come on.
Okay, so then she just tries to kind of continue on and ask her question, but he's not going to allow that. So he just stops her by re-asking the question. No, define it for me.
Senator McCain defined them as the same group.
Okay, what about the alt-left?
Okay, so she starts in an answer giving someone else's definition. She says, well, Senator McCain says this and this, and he doesn't want that. All he was trying to do is put her on her toes by basically pointing out that she has no definition for that, or she didn't want to define it. And then when she goes, well, so-and-so says this, he immediately cuts that off because that's not going to help his cause to have her say, well, Senator McCain calls it this and this and this.
They came charging him. Excuse me.
Okay, the excuse me is great, but with the hand, it adds a lot more authority when you're speaking with 2 means of communication. So it's not just like excuse me, it's excuse me. With the hand out, it just creates a second level, I guess, of attention or authority when you use those 2 things in tandem, and Trump definitely uses his hands a lot.
What about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt?
This is Senator McCain's statement.
Let me ask you this. What about the fact they came charging with clubs in their hands, swinging clubs? Do they have any problem? I think they do.
Okay, so that is 2 times in a row back when you saw the 5 come on the screen. What he's doing is he's posing a statement as a question. And this is effective because it's much easier to get people's attention by saying, well, let me ask you this, versus just talking and rambling with your own ideas. So he says, well, let me ask you this. Is it a problem that they had clubs in their hands and they were charging down the hill? Yes, I think it is. And then he goes straight into something else. So it's not a question. It gives nobody a time to respond, but it stops and got them to stop talking by saying, let me ask you a question. He does it twice in a row. That's a very effective strategy, especially when you're dealing with groups.
As far as I'm concerned, that was a horrible, horrible day. Wait a minute. I'm not finished.
Okay. All right. So you hear, wait a minute, I'm not finished. His whole tone changed. He goes, yes, it was a terrible day. I'm not finished. Along with a hand gesture, which is a sharp finger pointed right at them. The change in tone perks people's ears up. Anytime you change tonality in a step change difference, just meaning a big change quickly. Yes, and it was a terrible day. Wait a minute, I'm not finished. It gets people's attention.
I'm not finished. I'm not finished, fake news.
That's the best part. Okay. Oh, he's being childish. Yes, that's a childish crack. He calls him fake news, but it works. You know, I'm always a big advocate of talking about how we want to know what's effective in the real world. I don't want to know textbook stuff. And there's a lot of people, well, he called him fake news. That's a childish crack. Yes, but it works. It's just like when he called Marco Rubio Little Marco when he was campaigning. Yeah, it's a third grade crack, but what can Marco Rubio say in response to that? If he says anything, it sounds like he's trying to defend it, so it gives it credence to what he's saying. So you got to remember, sometimes these things are effective and we need to understand, even if they are childish and termed as immature, we still need to know what they do and know how to prevent that from happening to us or using them if we feel like it's a good case to do so.
That was a horrible day,
I'm
but
not
there is
finished
another
fake news.
side. There was a group on this side, you can call them the left, or you've just called them the left, that came violently attacking the other group. So you can say what you want, but that's the way it is.
Okay, that's the final thing. So he wraps the entire thing. It doesn't matter what was said before. He ends it in one succinct sentence and says, and you can say what you want, but that's the way it is. On to the next question. Because if you end any argument with, yeah, say whatever you want, that's the way it is, it kind of gives you the ultimate authority at the end, especially in a situation like this where he's got a microphone. Nobody can talk over him. Nobody can come and talk under him. So he knows that. So that's a great time to use something like, well, that's the way it is. And not only a master of trash talk, Trump is just a master of asserting himself. I'd suggest you click here to watch this video of him and Macron. He shakes his hand for 30 seconds before letting go. That's as long as this entire interaction that we just watched in this video. You can click right here to watch it. It's incredible. You can click here to subscribe to the channel. If you can subscribe to the Charisma Matrix, do so. I'm putting out videos all the time. We talk about social interaction and how you can improve your game so you can be really socially confident. Once again, if you didn't download your social invincibility checklist, you can click right here to do so. Go through 5 things that'll get you dialed in. I'll talk to you soon.